Hello, good evening. My name is Vita Sadanandan, and today is the 29th of March 2026, and the time is 6:32 p.m. The area of body we will be maintaining health of by the Nirbeeja Yoga style is the region of liver plus spleen. Now, these are two important engines, so to speak, in the front portion of the body, below the diaphragm, yeah, and the lower portion of your rib cage. There are two other engines on the related region, which is the two kidneys, the adrenal glands, which are on top of the kidneys, which forms for a four-stroke bike. But that these engines won't quite function as well if the diaphragm is kind of tight, if the intestines are not functioning as well, your mesentery is needing a little care, then these engines are having a little moment sandwiched in between the upper class and lower class. Now, maintaining the health of these engines would help the heaven and hell, the upper class and lower class also have another think on how to maintain their structures. How do we do that? You're not working all the four, you're only working on two of them. Why? Because we haven't mentioned kidneys anywhere. We have the solar plexus, we have the Garapatya, we have the intestines. Hara, ischium, sits. Oh crap. I have to account for, I'm sorry, I got to account for kidneys. So there is no respite. I'm named it as liver and spleen. I'm going to work on the kidneys too. How often have I been working on this? Let's just say, oh, I have been working on the general maintenance of health, and I have this calendar and have been pretty diligent. And then I did my own stuff, went a little off calendar. And now I'm looking at it again, given that there's this opportunity of also being a little more systematic, specific, and also develop the course and speaking extempore so that I get a little more familiar, wagging my tongue, talking my walk. And when I'm talking my walk, this is like artificial intelligence. There are several bits of information, while original is quite a, it's a simple, multifaceted practice that moves through stages of development. And how well did we get? It just got so multifaceted and so simple that telling it simply became a complex thing. So I'm learning to systematically talk about it. So as I'm talking about it, I am having to name the room as having wallpapers or different furniture and different features. So Plato's theory of forms for what is Nirbeeja Yoga of a particular body in its different forms are having a different expression in the morning and evening, but also because the practice is so much multifaceted. So, so the calendar, which was formed some time back, is having another look. So I'll have to maintain the four-stroke bike, four-stroke engine. That will talk even less to people. So I'll have to tell, I don't know what I'm going to have to say there, but liver, spleen, kidneys, or something. Yeah, what I'll have to name it in terms of dermatomes, bandwidth. No. Area of the body, area of the body. The more you look at it, the more you're paying attention to what is mentioned there. Otherwise, you're looking at something that doesn't really make sense, and you're less inspired to take care of it. Yeah. So name it. Name plays animal things. Naming it has its own benefits. How long did it take for me to arrive at the calendar? I've been staring at it, and over time it came to 41 makes sense, 41 Langanams, but at least to remember that 41, I named a calendar with body parts, and then there are multiples of 41s. So there are many layers of opportunities. Yeah, when you go to Shabarimala, there is a 40 days fasting, 40 day, 41 day. I don't know, one of 40, I think. When I looked it up, it was 40, but I was thinking there is 41 Langanams. Because my enterprise logo, yeah, has a dot on that for the head. And that head has 41 frets. So 41 Langanams. Yeah. And then I'm kind of staying with that format because my logo has been it's quite a structure which has been having me wake up and yeah, show up and do better and live healthier, wealthier, wiser, and kind of it's a image like the Sri Chakra, which does just simply the more you look at it, or when I look at it, oh, there are several facets to it. It still keeps amazing me. Now, 41. What has the liver and spleen to do with my logo? Well, it's about the region of the waistline. No, 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 no. You have okay, my logo has um, 26 steps, left and right together. Yeah. 13 plus 13. 13 on one side, 13 on the other side. There is a head dot. You can't see the logo. You see my on X spaces, you see my profile image. That one is the logo. I call my logo Mighty Baby. And there's a head dot, and then there is a circumlocutor. The top portion of it has frets. It has 13 on the left, 13 on the right. Yeah, that forms for 26. Yeah. And you have 26 letters of the English alphabet. But actually there's a 14, which is in between the head dot and the body dot, body circumlocutor is a space, which looks like there's a voice coming from there. Wave, wave, wave. So I call that the 14th rib. What has this got to do with liver and spleen? I got distracted. But paying attention to this detail, my logo represents a silhouette of a humane being. Like when you look at a person from far and you see only the silhouette of a person, it looks like that's my idea. That's the silhouette of a humane being. So it's taken some while. So coming in, going on, coming. Yeah. So since some time from Bahadur se. Yeah. Now, so it has many frets. It's an interesting image. On my website, learn.dynamicstillnesses.com is this image in a little more enlarged format. So the frets are more visible. So you can kind of count them. Very symmetrical, up and low, and then abdomen, there's 2 lines. And then there is 20 on, yeah, left and right. So that forms for a 40. So several details. The head dot has 41 frets. I think it's a musical instrument. I keep saying frets, but I also think it's feathers. But how is this related with the liver and spleen? We are talking about the same human body in a humane format. Why is this important? People cannot, they say when they say try to touch a person, they're not really touching a person. They are touching resistance from how the atoms repel each other. Why is this important with the liver and spleen? Your stress levels, when you're going off topic, is also because of the coolness you maintain about the middle region. How your engines are processing things you expect, and when things that you don't expect is showing up. Your reactivity is also forming from the stress levels. Now, I can aggravate it, but if you are aware of a little bit of irritation, stress, irritation sometimes comes from the nervous system, but stress comes from this engine region. So liver and spleen and kidneys, with the adrenals on top of the kidneys, is about the region we're talking about. The middle section of your body. If you want to improve your shape, tone down the middle, is a quote I read on this kickboxing and other things were happening at this place called Figure Eight. Yeah, studio. It's a gym also. Kind. If you want to improve your shape, tone down your middle. Yeah, Figure Eight. Now, the Figure Eight, Ashtanga yoga and all that. Now, yeah. Now, about the region of your middle, when you place your hand on your abdomen in the position of power, that will be a region slightly below the solar plexus, or just about the region below the solar plexus. Now, The solar plexus gets affected by the health of liver and spleen and the set of muscles and nervous system about that region, which is the lower portion of your rib cage below the diaphragm. Now we have worked a bit on the diaphragm, at least I have put a live on that. If you have been participating in these lives, then you would get to see some of the benefits from them. But otherwise, how then do we take care of the liver and spleen by the Nirbeeja Yoga method? I invite you to bring your attention to the sides of your abdomen. No, the sides of your abdomen above the lower portion of your rib cage. And in terms of warmth, in terms of softness, but at this time, evening, I don't know if it's just my geographical location or because of who's present in the room right now, in my speaking space, there tends to be a greater pressure, like you might just cave in. So I invite you to bring your attention to your ears and notice the warmth and softness and any sense of relaxation about the region of your ears. Because without this stability, you might just cave in, or you could just go off to sleep, or you couldn't handle the topic or what we're talking about right now. So I invite you to bring your attention to your ears. Notice the tissues of your ears, and notice the tissues above your ears and below your ears. Okay? And notice your ears in this region in terms of softness. So that's when you're likely to notice the tissues in a more kinder manner, or at least in a manner that your body actually is than your preconceived notions. Okay? And as you pay attention to your ears, the tissues of your ears, you might be aware of the front of the ears and back of the ears. Now, if that gives you tension, irritation, that's also because the nerves on your face or the nerves at the back of your head may be having a moment. And by moment, I don't mean small, okay? And if by just my saying, small, it seems like a big thing, I invite you to just bring your attention to your ears and notice the region inside your ears in terms of any sense of relaxation that might reduce the tension, yeah, from you being aware of your face or the region behind your head, okay? You don't want to go anywhere there. Pay attention to the region inside your ears and notice any sense of relaxation in your ears or any sense of ease inside your ears. Your bones may seem like they are less caving in, okay? Okay, sometimes stress has a certain effect on the head. You may be working a lot, thinking of a lot of stuff, working through many kinds of emotions, tensions, there's no saying it. But pay attention to the region above your head and below your head. Above your ears and below your ears, while you continue to pay attention to your ears in terms of relaxation and ease. And then, if you can, try and include also the region of your abdomen, the sides of your chest. Okay. Pay attention to the region of your chest, the sides of your chest, about the lower portion of your rib cage. Do not try and not, try and include also the region of your ears. So there's a fine balance. That may be a little stretch of your attention. Yeah, stretch of your attention payability, which is also kind of a good thing. Why? Because your ability to pay attention to many things, or it's not your imagination, but your sensibility, your sense and sensibilities could have a little stretch or a little expanded capability. No, expansion. Your bandwidth of sensibility could increase. Yeah, it may seem like a little stretch, but if you say go to the gym and you're going that extra mile or doing that extra set, that would also expand you. So here, this is without moving a muscle, yeah? This is your sense and sensibility, having a little bit of a stretch. Okay? If that feels a little difficult, pay attention to your breath and the rhythmic movement of your breath as you're paying attention to your ears and the lower portion of your rib cage. Now that's additional, you would think, but actually, when you pay attention to your breath, there comes a certain rhythm which makes this multifaceted attention a little more easier. Okay? So pay attention to any sense of your breath and any sense of relaxation in your ears. And your rib cage is expanding and contracting, corresponding with your breath. So your ears, your breath, and your rib cage are not doing very different things. They're all related because the ears are also part of your head region, which is through how you inhale air. Yeah, so not very far. A little stretch, but you're having a little 3D appreciation of your attention, sense, and sensibility. Yeah, a little bit of a stretch. Now, I invite you now to bring your attention to the region of your rib cage without taking your attention off your ears, because we don't want to go back on the good work we've done thus far. Yeah. All right. Now, notice how may your left and right sides of your rib cage be. Rib cage, lower portion of your rib cage. Okay, if you're already getting tired, that's why I recommend keeping a bottle of water in front of you. Because this is a moment where your muscles get the nourishment they need. Your nervous system and your muscles get the nourishment they need to maintain the bandwidth of sense and sensibility. So this is like a different kind of a stent. Yeah, kind of, so to speak. A little bit of an expansion. But that water does wonders to your muscle and nerve coordination, integration. Coordination more. Alrighty. Now try and see if you can pay attention to the back of your ears. Not the back of your head, ears and back of your ears, the tissues of the back of your ears. Not the back of your head, just the tissues of the back of your ears. Okay? Bring your attention to the inside of your ears and then the back of your ears, the tissues of the back of your ears. Okay? Now bring your attention to the left and right sides of the lower portion of your rib cage. Okay? Try and pay attention to any sense of softness about this region or any sense of rhythmic movement about the left and right sides of your rib cage, lower portion of your rib cage. Okay? And notice if you have a sense of crying or an emotional sense, that may also be part of how the tension in your muscles may be in some way letting go of, because there is this rhythmic sense that also helps your tissues to sort of have a little breather. Because otherwise they've been holding on to emotions sometimes without even a breather. Yeah? If that's so, that may be a little sense. Chances are you're having less of a chance of getting a gallbladder disease. That also could be the case. Yeah? Ooh. And your liver is more likely to be functioning better once that heaviness, that emotional tension, heaviness in those tissues are a little bit relaxed or relieved, sort of. Or maybe that's a little bout of vomiting you are not going to have. Yeah? Alrighty. Now, continue to bring attention to the sides of your lower portion of your rib cage. There are several areas around there. Yeah? So now notice the left and right sides. Okay? And continue to pay attention in terms of softness of tissues of the lower portion of the left and right sides of your rib cage. If you can, every now and then also pay attention to your ears, you're less likely to cave in. Okay? and better maintain the ability, the bandwidth of your sense and sensibility. Okay? If that helps your breath to be a little more relaxed, it seems like you have better space, you're getting better. Yeah? I cannot really say a container's getting better, but at least your ability, your bandwidth is getting a little better here. Your tolerance level or tolerability of a little multiple facets here, but you're only paying attention to sensation. So you're developing a different capacity. Yeah, different kind of capacity. And your breath would continue to be other than traumatized because you're paying attention to gentle rhythm. Your ears are relaxed. You're paying attention to softness or the movement of the lower portion of your rib cage. You're getting to a better kind of a health because in some sense, your head and body, or at least in some sense, your brain and heart, or some aspect of it, is more a little in sync, which is a good thing, something that a lot of people cannot claim to. Their brain and heart may not be so much in sync, but yours may be in a better state. We are still not talking directly about the brain or the heart, but this is something which may have been preventing a lot of people, from having what it takes to have a sync coordination between brain and heart, but thereabouts, yeah. Continue to pay attention to any sense of relaxation in the region of your ears and the gentle rhythmic movement of the lower portion of your rib cage to the extent that you can pay attention to. And notice how may the back of your rib cage be. Now, if you're going to, for a moment, take your attention off your ears, it would still be fine. But notice, how does the back of your rib cage be? Okay, bring your attention again to your ears. Oh, man. Bring your attention also again to your ears, inside of your ears, and notice a sense of relaxation and ease in your ears. And now bring your attention to the back of your rib cage. Okay. If you're having a little blind spot moving from the sides of your rib cage to the back of your rib cage, you're having a little boundary concern, so to speak, yeah, between the front of your body and the back of your body. Okay, that may seem like you're crossing another country, yeah. So your entire attention system goes off a little, yeah, this way. So continue to stay at the sides of your rib cage, okay, and notice how does the sides of your rib cage move while you pay attention to any sense of relaxation about the sides of your rib cage. Is there any movement at all? Does your breath in any sense behave differently? Is there a sense of deepening of breath or a sense of like some things that you need to pay attention to is now something you don't have to pay attention to? So a certain relaxation from, the number of things you need to pay attention to has kind of reduced to just relaxation. Yeah, relaxation has fewer things to pay attention to. Or it's just something you don't know how multifaceted relaxation is. That can also be a case. Nevertheless, pay attention to any sense of relaxation about the lower portion of your rib cage. We are having an environmental influence. The environment is responding to me being cooler. Okay, me having an ego. Yeah. All righty. Oh, okay. Now, try and notice the back of your rib cage, if you can. However it may be, okay. You have the back of your rib cage. You have the rib cage, yeah? And you have the back of your rib cage. Or at least thereabout. If you can know the front of your rib cage and the side of the rib cage, there must be, conceptually at least, the back of your rib cage, because the rib cage is connected with the spine. Yeah, try moving your thorax left and right. If your whole thorax is moving, you are not leaving the back of your rib cage in one side and then moving just the front. Yeah, it moves as one unit. That would be a grotesque idea. But if you're moving the entire thorax in one piece, you are having the back of your rib cage also moving. That's for sure. Yeah, unless you're like what is it? Jim Carrey. Yeah, part of the body there, the son of the masker. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah. So there may be some kind of a sensation that says the back of your rib cage is also part of your thorax. Something, it could be softness, it could be warmth, it could be hot, it could be a tissue sense or something that says you have a back. Does it feel like you have a back? Sensationally, in terms of sensation. I recommend something else. Okay? Tonight, when you go to sleep, sleep on your stomach. Okay. Sleep for some portion of your sleep on your back, on your stomach, on your stomach. Keep a pillow under your chin. Okay? So your head is a little up. So you're not, going out of breath. Your nose is not getting covered and you continue to breathe. Place your chin on the pillow. Keep your head up so that you're continuing to breathe. You're likely to notice your back. It may be a little painful because you may have not paid attention to your back in a while. I don't know how you generally sleep, but you're likely to notice something about your back, at least for tomorrow's session, if you're going to be joining me, in the session, you're likely to be a little more aware of your back. Sleep for a little while on your tummy and then sleep however you've been. Before you can wake up, sleep a little while on your tummy again. Tummy time. Yeah? You're likely to notice something about your back. And there will be some good, nice reason why you don't pay attention to back, because you never look back. But no, 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 no. There are some things, it could be genetic, epigenetic. Don't go about talking about it because it's like things you cannot know about. But you can feel. Sleep on your tummy with a pillow under your chin. Yeah. That would give your back a little bit of a stretch, but you'll definitely know your back. And you have your back. Yeah. And your awareness of your back will have you from your back. Because knowing that you have the back of your body sensationally, in terms of sensation, gives you a support you don't know you need to have. I'll repeat that. Being aware of your back, in terms of sensation, knowing you have a back, in terms of sensation, gives you a support to your own body and life the way you don't know you want to have, the way you don't know you want to have or you need to have. Yeah. This would be something a little that you didn't know you wanted. Being able to feel your back gives you something you didn't know you wanted until you actually have it. And what that does to you and your life cannot be said in simple words. And particularly the lower portion of your rib cage. You will know it when you're kind of sleeping on your back with your chin on a pillow. You will know a stretch about your rib cage, because your rib cage is the cage which is then a little bulky when compared to your spine. So you will know something about the lower portion of your rib cage. And knowing that area while you're sitting, while you're walking, gives you a certain support you didn't know you wanted. What that does to your experience of living, to not just who you are, but who you can be, cannot be said in words. This is something to be experienced. No amount of money will give you that experience. because you're going to have to sleep on your back. It may be a little painful. You may have to twist and turn to get a little. It's not just sensation, it might actually be a little painful sometimes, or at least the muscles could be a little tense, or it may just be uncomfortable. Yeah, okay. Now, try and get yourself a soft blanket or a duvet to sleep on. If you tend to sleep on a hard bed, hard using hard pillows, get softer versions. What that if you're not having softer bedding, lie on a softer duvet or a soft blanket. And tummy time on a soft duvet blanket, that gives you support from the front of your body you didn't know you wanted. Yeah, baby's tummy time, you tummy time. Yeah. Cool. We're going to have to upgrade people's bedding now and get a softer cushion, pillow, something that would be like a cloud. Nowadays, they make this um, yeah, microfibers kind stuff, but it gives a certain a slight firmness, but it's kind of like you're sleeping on a cloud. Oh, it does something to your sleep, I tell you. You should try that out. You don't know what I'm talking about. A medium size, not too thin, but well, you can use a thin one. But for this, a little bit of an experience, try that too. At least get that cloud sense, your neck experiencing that cloud sense. And then maybe you can use it to lean on when you're working. Yeah. But there are different stages, which is why sometimes having different kinds, different shapes of cushions help. Yeah, pillows. Different seasons require you to be a different you. Yeah. So the different season, different pillows. Yeah. Yeah. How many do you have? Well, how much do you prioritize your health and well-being? Okay. We go through Dashavatara Dashami cycles, which means you go through stages of development. And that doesn't mean 10. It just means there is a small and there's a medium and there's a large pillow, so to speak. Or you can bundle up your towel. Yeah, that'll give you many sizes and shapes. You can get resourceful, but get something like a little bit of a cloud-like. Yeah, especially if you're taking care of a lot of people or managing many things, lifting heavy stuff, um, and generally sitting a lot of tensions. This soft pillow does something to your state of well-being in terms of tissue sensation, your ability to sense cloud-like soft. It does something to your nerves. It does something to your state of well-being. You got to get that experience to then see what it does to your health and well-being. Cannot be said enough, but okay, just try it out. You will know the difference only when you try it out. I can talk and talk and talk, but okay. So that is likely to have you have a better sense of health about the region of your four-stroke bike, your middle section, liver and spleen and kidneys, kind of that region. And continue to pay attention to any sense of relaxation about the lower portion of your rib cage, which would be front and back and sides. And the class of tissues above and class of tissues below is more likely to function better because the middle section is less tense. And that's 4 engines. Yeah. So have a well or be ability, figure 8. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day.